got.
Good morning, everyone. Are you good? I don't know if anyone can tell who's talking. I see now I'm clouded. I wanted to do my intro without everyone on screen, but it's okay. We can work with it. Sis Batabile and Balisa, if you can do landscape, it's fine. Of your videos, if you can't, it's okay. Yeah, top of the morning to everyone else. Welcome to our Friday sessions, where we either looking at the theme of think ownership, or we are looking at that money franchise stokvel. One of the key investment features that we started as a collective as from last year, June. Yeah, we launched on the 26th of June. And since then, it's been 245 days since the inception of the That Money concept. We're still dreaming, we're still kicking, we're still fighting and dancing our way through the chaos. Not only that, Co-op One store is about to close for 100 days of trade. And since then, we've also formalized about 200 co-op members. Guys, welcome on screen. Lovely to have you here. Is everybody good?
Thanks, buddy. We're good.
We're good. We're good. Good to be back on screen.
Let me just check in with everybody. How's been business? How's been business, Lebo? I'll start with you.
I think everybody can see from my eyes. I'm even holding coffee, guys. I kid you not. It's that rough. Just before we went on screen, I was fighting on Bali to start on time. You know, that's just how hectic it is. Like, we are trying to make sure that things move at a pace and at a speed that we promised the public. And we're here. We're showing up. I do need to leave though. I need to come out.
Yeah. Tsepo, how's Stokvel doing? Are the new Stokvels every other month or every other week? Are people putting their money where their investments are?
Yeah, look, I think Slebo says he needs leave. What is that? There's no such thing for entrepreneurs, eh?
You sleep when you're dead.
You sleep when you're dead, eh? You sleep when you're dead. Yeah, no, look, we have a campaign going on. We're calling it 1,100,000 stokvels. So we're looking for 100 stokvels that will get to R1 million. So far we've bagged 10 that we think come end of the year they'll be at R1 million, and they're doing well. They started good. I know Sis Batabile is one of them. That's there. That we're gonna get her new stokvel to R1 million as well. So yeah, it's looking good. But yeah, it's crazy. During the pandemic, at the same time, we've gotten some stokvel members passing away that we have to assist, pay out their family members. So yeah, it's a bit challenging, but we're here. We're showing up.
Yeah, man, as long as we sing a way forward. Let me just remind everybody who you are seeing on screen. These are the 4 crazy people who thought during lockdown level 5 now we're going to start a movement and we're going to mobilize 100 people. And everybody was like, how are you going to do that? And they said, come watch, we'll show you. So this is Barui on screen. Yes, the managing company for That Money Stokvel. Sis Batabile, how's everything with the township economy?
Everything we are, I don't want to complain a lot, to be honest. We've had enough bad vibes. We are looking forward to exciting opportunities, more collaborations. As Tapo had said, we've onboarded a new stokvel. It's a butchery stokvel. So we are buying the winners direct from the farmers, and we are reselling the meats. Yeah, so we are excited and looking forward for more opportunities, of course, and empowering more of our communities.
I love that. It seems like every time we get a chance to sit down and talk, there's always something new. I love it. We love learning from you guys. Balisa, babes was stokvel. What's happening in your world?
Amazing. There's always new things. We are starting an initiative for women in Stokvels. As you know, there is more women that are in Stokvels, like more than 60% of them. So we are starting a movement where we specifically are going to be educating and sharing opportunities and getting women to really lead in the industry of Stokvels. So yes, we're launching our event next week. And guess who's our program director? Bali.
I would love to guess. I'm all for it. The minute they said women in Stokvels, I was like, yes. I'm in, I'm sold, guys. Let's teach more women how to handle their money, how to use it to their advantage, and how to make it grow. But most importantly, how they can own assets that bring them an income at the end of the day. All right. Now let's get to the core of today's business, which is that money franchise Stokvel, a movement that all four of you came together and started online. How far are you with this whole insanity? Are you guys still holding on?
Look, I'll go first. I think there's been a lot of learnings.
Yeah.
You know, we always say this even in enterprise development, that just not in enterprise development, in entrepreneurship in general, that there's a big difference between theory and practice. And we're living it right now. There's bombs all around. We see flames. Yay! Anything you touch, it just boom. These days we walk really soft, And for me, that is really exciting because we are walking the talk. We are getting to understand at the very early stage what we should do more of and what we should do less of. Also, it takes us back to, we all have businesses here, and we have often said that when you start a business, things go X, Y, Z. But when you have to live it, it's a totally different thing. Like, it messes with your head because all the theory that you have in your head kind of just flips over for you.
No, I get that. And but there's a way forward. With everything else that's going on, there's still a way forward.
Absolutely. All right. And I think but just to add that, I think what I'm trying to do more than anything is to paint the most realistic picture of the entrepreneurship journey, without any makeup on it, so that people understand that when we start shining out there and we start showing successes, that it was not smooth sailing throughout the journey. Like, it is a really rough journey for us, but we have no shadow of doubt that we're definitely going to thrive.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And maybe, Tsepo, you can just, highlight some early wins, some confidence boosters here and there for us, things that we can look at and say, you know what, we might be 245 days away from where we were, like in June 2020. But this is how far we've got. These are the small achievements and these are the big achievements. I think it's important to look back and point those things out, just to give members a little bit of confidence that, we're doing something real.
Yeah, look, I was still on the tip, what's going wrong. So now you're pushing me to what's going right. So, look, I wanted to say that perhaps what's going right in this instance, we've managed to sort of identify key important individuals that can play a very important part in the board. I think by selecting a board, a very strong board members for Corp 1 and Corp 2, we are headed in the right direction. So I think that, to me, just shows the level of quality of South Africans, or even Black South Africans that are out there, that are willing to put their hands up. Definitely the wins that we've gotten from by having this is that the board has assisted us in fine-tuning contracts that we wanted to put in place, your FA, your franchise agreement, the service level agreement, so we've been fine-tuning that, and it's coming very nicely, I must say. From that point of view, the board doesn't let us sleep. I think we've had our clashes, but I think it just shows when everyone is committed, we're heading in the right direction. Definitely the wins is around members themselves. They make sure that they go to the store. Yes, we need more of them to go to the store, but those who definitely go on, one of the shareholders I know of Rindani, he makes sure that he's at the store at least once a month to buying, and he brings different individuals across. So the win is there to show that community. When we bring the community together, when we bring the shareholders together and they invite their friends, actually we can transact between each other, basically from that point of view. Another win is that we're able to enable two new startups, definitely, arguably, one of the, and both of them Black females, to contribute towards the store itself, So that's definitely a win. These individuals, particularly the vegetable supplier, was never delivering vegetables, but now they're in the value chain and they're learning quite a lot from that point. So we are doing the right things. We definitely need to start winning from a sales side, but I'll let Batabile or my colleague talk to that point.
All right. But guys, don't be afraid to give me depth, because they'll ask me on Facebook and I won't know what to say. I'll bring them back to you. All right. Sis Batabile, I'm not sure if you can take this one. Maybe you can also point out, can members join now? Is Start Money Franchise Stokvel open for new members at this point? Where are we?
Yeah, hi, Mbali. Thank you so much. Yes, we are still enrolling more members because we have started the group 3. I think it's half full now, if I'm not mistaken. Tsepo knows the numbers too well, and we are already gonna start soon with onboarding group 4. Because remember, the target is 100 stores in 5 years.
Yes.
And as we've started this initiative, we said it's all about ownership. So as we are owning, and the purpose of getting into the franchise and specifically fast food, the study that we've presented is that we've seen a lot of us Black people going and buying into the fast food. I'll make an example with the big fast food stores, your KFC, your Dubonets. Every day when you walk, you see Black people. Now we said, can't we own part of this industry? So now we need, after we've invested, we need to also come as owners. We need to bring our families, we need to bring our friends, because we didn't just buy the store and let other people to come and support us. Remember, charity begins at home. So we need to understand that we need to be all committed in driving this. As much as we support other fast food outlets, we need to also understand that even if you stay in Pretoria, you need to drive in the east, you need to drive in the south to go and support your own store.
Yeah.
We drive so much for other entertainment. We drive for parties out of the province. Palisa is now in Durban on leisure. I'm sure she's buying some fast food there. So that's how we've always lived. So buying a store that is not located where you are, it doesn't mean that you can't support the store. Sometimes you just pack your bags, take your family and say, today we are going to Joburg. Even if you are from the Free State, drive to Joburg, go and see your investment and go and spend money. Because we're saying we want to circulate this money. So charity begins at home. We need to see a lot of 100 members in different stores supporting, but not only with their own money, but continuously also telling their friends and be proud of the ownership. Because as much as there's 100 of us, with the Stokvel model is that cooperative model, each and every member, you are 100% ownership. So it doesn't matter whether you've got 1% share, you are 100% owner of the business.
Okay, I see that. So, I mean, that means there's still open spaces to take in new members. I was just about to ask if Balisa is busy mobilizing Stokvel members there in Durban. So, yes.
I'm sure she is. Even if you're on holiday, we always, it's mostly, it's always a holiday plus work, We don't just travel.
Entrepreneurship. Let me just go back to what you said, Sis Batabile. 100 stores in 5 years, penetrating the 84 billion rands industry. Is that still the plan? And if you're saying 100 stores in 5 years, how many stores are we looking to launch in 2021?
No, definitely, because already we are on a second store. And we've got a third group which will be buying a third store before the end of June. So we are on the right track, because remember, the first year the pace won't be as fast because we are still learning, we are still setting up the system. But when we get to year 2, year 3, definitely the numbers will double, will triple, because now we'll have a working system. Because remember, everything that we are setting up this year is brand new. We are not benchmarking on any other that has been done. You know, we've never had a cooperative owning a franchise. We've never had a franchisor allowing any cooperative to be franchisees. So everything that we are doing now, you know, setting up boards, setting up the ManCo, everything was brand new. So the pace was a bit slow, like intentionally so, because we don't want to do everything in a rush. We want to have a working model that is very, very, like, you know, fine-tuned.
Yeah.
So you'll see now the growth in the second and third phases, that now it will start picking up again. But we are on the right track, because we had predicted that by the end of this year we should have about 5 or 6 stores, and we are on the right track.
All right. I'm gonna pose the next question to Upalisa. Palisa, how important maybe is the alcohol to the food, to the fast food industry? Did the ban hit even non-alcoholic related brands, especially looking at the, you know, December, January, February members? And I'm choosing those times specifically because, you know, that is the time when stockpiles are mostly, you know, spending their monies. Maybe you have a bit of insights into that. Have stockpiles actually tapped into the alcohol industry? What is happening there?
And Palisa fell off.
Okay, all right. Who's going to take this question for me? Please take it for me, Lebo.
I'm happy to
okay,
take
it. With Palisa, I was basing it on stockpiles, but with you, I'm just going to take it back to, you know, the restaurant industry. You know, after us opening a store, did the alcohol ban actually factor our sales at the store?
Yeah, and not just us.
Even though we're not selling alcohol.
Yeah. Everybody's affected. And this is the interesting thing about South Africa, you know. You close alcohol, the knock-on effect onto other industries is crazy, you know. Transport industry, like industries that are adjacent, that almost seem like they are not related to the alcohol industry, they directly affected. We saw people slowing down in purchasing and going out to purchase food and stuff. Part of it was, I mean, something as simple as you were planning to go out, now you don't buy clothes. And the knock-on effect of not buying clothes is that a retailer, somebody who sells clothes, who's got nothing to do with alcohol, is actually affected. So that is what we must always understand from an ecosystem perspective, that the decisions that are often made by politicians, they so crazy. There's a knock-on effect to everything that happens around us. And we got to see it in the roughest of ways, because in the complex that we are in Glenwood, in Benoni, there's a bottle store and there's 3 other franchises in the space. There's a garage, you know, there's a car wash. Everything stopped. Everything, you know. I think there's a chicken lick in there. There's a pizza joint. Everybody couldn't make money. And so imagine launching at a time when, from a regulatory point of view, everything is just shut down. And, you know, we have an appreciation that we're in a pandemic and therefore things cannot operate as normal. But we did not anticipate that it would hit us at the level that it hit us, you know. Having said that, we're surviving through the storm. We are headed to our 100 days. What day is it today? I think it's day 86. Ne, guys, am I correct, Tepo? We're on day 86. And what we are measuring, if we can hit 100 days, we'll hit our first milestone. And a big part of what has been happening as well, you know, in preparing for that has been in making sure that we've got the right infrastructure. So now we've got bikes, we've got delivery service, we've got all these things that were not there before from as a franchisee, you know. And knowing that the community that we are buying into, that we've invested into, that we've introduced ourselves to, we are building a relationship, and we know that things are going to get better. But get back to your question around alcohol, it affects everything around us. It is just the way that South Africa is, you know. We do wish it was different, but ways.
Are you trying to say we're a bunch of drinkers? No, it's pretty interesting because, I mean, the minute you take away alcohol, people feel like, no, we still can't meet, you know, we can't have the same valuable conversations we used to. Gandhi, I know we just need to find more interesting ways to come together, because at the end of the day, guys, alcohol is a drug. But if it's making you money, I say go for it. All right, let's also have a few questions on screen. Natasha Moore, you might have missed it, but when is the ETA for the second store to launch? Anticipated date.
Look, it will
for
be
the
soon.
launch of the second store, yes.
Yeah, so I just want to remind members that because now we have a board of directors that has been set up, it's not Barui's mandate to speak to members. It's the board that makes those announcements. So we do not want to bypass a step and come and make announcements here. So I am trusting that you are in the group that you have joined for the particular store, and announcements will be made accordingly. But it's very near. I mean, what we are going to share are general insights around the struggles that we face in the industry. Something as simple as building relationships with landlords. You know, being a cooperative has made it so difficult. Them hearing about Stockfell and 100 shareholders, everybody just wants to run, you know. And these are things we did not anticipate that they would be so difficult in the beginning, you know, because as we engage, people like a concept, but then when it must be implemented, people start running. They start, because everybody's just risk averse naturally, right? So we've had to do a lot of work in the background in engaging landlords and showing them that this works, that the investment community that we bring together is it's not the traditional cooperative model where everybody comes in there, boss, you know. There's a structure, and governance is pretty strong. You've got shareholders, you've got a board of directors, and you've got a management company that operates the actual entity. And therefore, that understanding takes time for humans to consume and to chew on and to eventually accept that it's okay. So we're building trust behind closed doors, and it's a slog, guys. It's painful. It's a really painful process.
Yeah. Palisa, welcome back. She's gone again. All right. Okay. All right. The next question was for her. I'll skip her again. We can set her free. You know, she can keep the Durban glow. We can let her go from here. It's okay. And I mean, is she there?
Yes.
Yeah, she's back.
All right, Palisa, my next question is that, you know, as from the previous lockdown to the second lockdown that we saw, what are the new trends? What are the new Stockfell concepts that have come up? How are, you know, people in groups putting money together, changing their investments? How are they, you know, redirecting their investments? Are we still going to see old concepts of Stockfells, or are people really building onto something new? If they are, we would like to know, what are people building on when it comes to Stockfells going forward?
I think first of all, the trend is that they are going the digital route at a much faster route. Because the pace was a bit slower. Now the lockdowns has actually made them adopt to, actually, guys, we don't need to be physically meeting. We don't need to be going straight to the bank physically. We can use the apps like Stockfella to conduct our Stockfells. So there's been a lot of increase in Stockfell using digital apps and all the other benefits that were already there, but it just quickened the process now. And then the second thing is also how they manage their monies now in Stockfells. They tend to have more money set aside for unforeseen things because of what's happening now. So they're almost having a savings that you're not only saving to share in December. Now things happen like the lockdown, like the coronavirus. We need, as a Stockfell, we need to have almost reserve funds for when such things happen, when people want to pull out because they can't contribute anymore. Do we have those funds set aside for such things? So that's also been quite a trend that Stockfells are having reserves for such things because of what has happened. And most importantly, now Stockfells are investing more. There's a huge increase in terms of Stockfells going the investing route, wanting to make more money out of the money that
Yes.
they're collecting.
Yeah.
So there's a shift from we are contributing money just to share, or we are contributing money just to consume it or something, but we want to own it. There's huge increase around investing into assets for stokvels, because they also realize this is a great way of building capital in order to be able to access some investments as a collective. So the movements like the Third Money is showing them that it's possible. You don't have to have the 1.5 million by yourself. You can contribute it together and still be able to investment. So I'm excited for the industry specifically that we are starting to use the power of stokvels to create wealth, but most importantly, to be a sustainable model.
I love that. You know, the more I love that. The more we speak about, you know, digitizing processes, I hope that everyone else who's listening in has witnessed, you know, the true power of mobilizing people through the internet. You know, it didn't take a whole year. You know, it's just a matter of sharing a post. Hey guys, this is what I have. And the fact that people can access that information instantly, you know, it helps us cancel out the rest of the of the admin, and we've seen it with our very own Stockfell. Now, Tsepo, please give us the 411 about, you know, the locations, stores, markets, suppliers. You know, you'll pick and choose which point you focus on, you know, and the processes that you've gone through with the, you know, that money theory. At first it was a theory, yes, but now, you know, you've tasted, you've been baptized by the fire. What are you changing in your model going forward in terms of launching stokvels, transitioning them into cooperatives, and buying stores?
Yeah, look, quite a steep learning curve, I must say, you know, and we are thankful that we have Sis Batabile, the franchise guru. So I'm talking on a franchise guru, so hopefully I don't get myself marked wrong here. But but yeah, look, I think the first point of departure about locations, they're not quite easy to come. You know, what we're faced with as a cooperative is what we call opportunity cost. You know, we are busy trying to raise the funds, particularly for the third store, while their locations are available already and they're being taken up. You know, particularly in the township where we're trying to target. You know, a lot of people who already have the capital just take up those spaces. You know, so we're finding ourselves chicken and egg, basically, you know, where I think Slewko touched on it, that we have to build the relationship with the landlord to say, give us that runway while we raise the capital at the same time. You know, we're finding ourselves as well as to say, okay, you know what, because the co-op is such a difficult structure, how do we make sure that the landlord, the franchisor still feel comfortable? You know, what sureties do we need to sign as the ManCo, and how do we make them well suited for this particular part? You know, so the learnings is there is to say, okay, can we as Barui step in? Given that the crowd trust us, can we step into those spaces of surety and deliver, basically, to make everyone comfortable with this whole process from that point of view? In terms of finding your locations, we had asked members. Members do say, but I think the challenge is that members say, I've seen the space, but what we are trying to build is process around where the member actually follows up with that space, all the way to a point where they know that the space is available or not. Them just saying they've seen it doesn't help us much. In fact, sometimes slows the process down, because then we have to call the agent, call the property, you know. So we're trying to see if we can build processes and steps and systems where the member actually, we give the member the power to actually go and do all the research themselves and come back to us and say, based on these terms that you put in, this space is suited and is available, and you can take it almost immediately. So we're learning that type of part in terms of location, to say, okay, members, you equipped, but also we are learning that the franchisor themselves actually can provide spaces, which, or should I say, at least they have a good idea. So we're working closely with the franchisor, Jimmy, to say, okay, what spaces do you know that we can actually leverage off quickly? And they've been very much helpful from that point of view, from a finding a location perspective. But I must say, opportunity cost, so we then need to now say, because we haven't raised the capital, do we then let the opportunity go because of that opportunity cost part of it? So we definitely encourage, especially those who still want to be part of the third group, or who are there in the third group, to say, come on board. The opportunity is there. There are two malls that we know of that will be launching quite soon, that actually require tenants, and they're asking us, and we're saying we are here, but at the same time our members need to show up from that point of view.
Yeah, I hear you, Tepo. And then I'm going to take this back to you, Lebo. The truth is, scaling back is something that might make all of us dizzy. But a lot of businesses are doing it. A lot of businesses have done it, since the pandemic hit. The important thing is figuring out what customers need the most, delivering that, and getting rid of the rest. In a sense that you can do with 5 employees instead of like 11 or 12 all of a sudden, it makes sense now. Are these, changes that you guys have been running past in the new store so far?
I think Lebu fell off, but I will take that up.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. We did have to also reconsider the way we were trading because of the restrictions that were imposed, because of the pandemic. So in our store, we fought hard not to let go of any staff by then. We didn't retrench. Because remember, our whole model is also empowering the communities and everything. So we had to look into ways, how can we how can we look into having, still keeping the team, but also looking into how we don't affect the revenue of the store and expenses as well, because we had to also cut down on a lot of expenses because of the reduced trading hours. So in our case, what we did, we changed the shifts. So normally we'll have double shifts on weekends, because that's when we thought it would be busy. But because of the bottle store that got closed in our center, we saw that a lot of people didn't come to our center anymore. So now we had to relook into our team member schedule. So we reduced the hours. Of course, it will have an impact on the employees. But they were very grateful, to be honest. They even said it up in one of the meetings that we had, to say, what, we are grateful that you didn't retrench any of us, but instead you looked into reducing the hours, and we can see that the business is also affected, because it was not only us, but also some of the restaurants that are in the same center, the car wash, things were a bit slow for everybody. So the team members, they were fair, and they also understood the situation. It's not like only in our store, but in the whole country, because of the of the lockdown level restrictions.
Yeah. And the ripple effect of this was that, it affected everything else. Before we didn't look in depth about, the cash flow, how it will be disturbed. And because we made promises to members that by this time we should have made this much money, and members should have gotten their pay at least by this date. Now, will such things be affected with everything with everything else that's going on?
I see everyone is looking at me saying you must answer from a money perspective.
Yes, I'm going to pose this to Tepo and Lebo.
Yeah, look, I think first point of departure, that particular conversation, the board sits with them basically, right? Because the power to distribute, although we've modeled it, the power to distribute does come back to the board, to distribute the funds, or to hold them back because of a liquidity crisis, in a nutshell. So if in COP 1, I think we are engaging the board, and some form of communication will come down. Now, does it impact our model? Of course it does. From a point of having modeled the best case scenario and the worst case scenario, I think the worst case scenario is worse than what we thought. So therefore, we need to make sure that we remodel accordingly so that we can then show the members, look, this is the way forward. I think what's important to us right now, more than anything else, particularly with the first store, is to make sure that the basics are done properly, is to make sure that the fundamentals of actually, breaking even, making sure that we function efficiently, and get to a place where the store is performing to its optimum. That's, if there's anything that the team knows about me, I'm trying to get to optimum. Like I'm cutting costs. I'm telling people I'm short of a rand here or there. So it's get to that point where we know that we are functioning optimally, and which I think we are close. And then after that is to drive marketing and sales like crazy, basically. And this is where my good friend Lebogo will step in, because that's his area. I'm making sure that we are lean, mean machine, basically. From that point, together with Batabi and everyone else. So is the model different? Yes, it is different. What's the impact of that, particularly in Co-op 1? I think the board has the right to engage you on that one.
Yeah.
Lebo, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, the biggest learning for us is, we in fact, in the beginning, when we were talking about our 100 stores, we wanted to drive an agenda where we scale to 10 stores by the end of this year. We have made a decision that we want to slow down, learn the environment, learn the business, and take in as much as possible. And there's another broken telephone thing that's happening here with this business model. Is that when we sold it to members, we said, we're coming together as 100 people because we're 100 strong, not just with our investment, And currently the behavior is that what we are seeing is that majority of members are behaving as investors. And in a cooperative, if you look at cooperative principles and what they stand for, is that everybody rolls up their sleeves and they get involved. But that culture has not permeated through, and it's still early days. So we're not here to play a blame game. We're just trying to highlight from an insights perspective that there's a culture shift that needs to happen, whether it's with this Stokvel or this co-op or any other that you start out there. If everybody does not get involved 100% and roll up their sleeves 200% and ensuring that this asset that they've put money into does not only survive but it thrives, then we've got a problem. Currently, what we have in our groups is that we've got less than 20% engagement, as in members that visit the store that actually make the contribution or that refer other members and stuff. And when we presented the model, we said, guys, we're the same people who consume these products. We're the ones who consume fast food, right, left, and center, right? And the best thing that we can do for ourselves is to make sure that what we are consuming, we own. But it seems like what's currently happening is that we are continuing to consume whatever the way we're consuming, and we've thrown money into a kitty somewhere, and we're hoping it sticks. And I am saying money is not enough. It's not about money. It's about cooperative principles. It's about everybody showing up 100%. That means you raising your hand and saying, guys, I would like to come through to the store and contribute in this way, or here's my skill set, or here's this, or here's that. And that way, we're ensuring sustainability of what we're doing, because it is a known fact that startups, the chances of a startup surviving are next to none. It's just the nature of business. But we know that having proved the business through buying into a franchise, we're lowering the risk, right? But it still does not guarantee you success. And then we said a second component of de-risking this model is having 100 people who are both investors into the asset, but not just investors. They are active shareholders who are ensuring that they're thinking ownership. When you think ownership, you participate, you do everything in your power to make sure that the thing that you are participating in not only survives, but it thrives. I'm just trying to point from strong.
No, true. I would just like to say, just before we wrap up, that what you guys are doing, what you guys have created here is a pretty magnificent tool. It will give access. It will give a lot of people access to things that they didn't know existed before. Like I said, you know, when we started doing, you know, cooperatives, when we started looking at what cooperatives are doing in South Africa, there was so much limited information. And hopefully Opalisa will help us put together this concept in a book so that we can show other people that it works. And I just want to ask, you know, personally, how are you balancing, you know, all the chaos that is happening in your world? You've got commitments in your businesses, you've got life commitments, and also now, you know, you are put in this position where you have to manage, you know, groups of 100 people. How is that affecting you guys personally? I'm going to start with you, Palisa.
I hope you can hear me properly. So it's been very hard, to be honest, to jungle everything. I was actually just telling Tepo this. When you get into a movement and you believe in it and you understand the bigger picture of it, you have to put commitment into it. And I've also learned this from TPS. You go into maybe wanting to be a board member and not realizing how much work it needs to be put into that, how much capacity you have to free up in order to make the dream a reality. So you have to be more than just, I'm just here to do this so that it comes. You have to understand the bigger picture, why you're doing this and what's going to come out of it, and wanting to make it work no matter what. So for me, it's always being able to prioritize managing everything else outside this, but making sure that we are still within the road to the bigger goal. The bigger picture is what you always put in when you are moving things around. So it's very, very important, especially for people that put their hand up to be board members. Remember the bigger picture. Remember the members that are depending on you to make this work. So that's where a bit of sacrifice, a bit of capacity making comes in. So yes, it's not hard, but remember the goal is what always makes me want to jungle things around and make it work. Thanks.
Nice. Tepo, are you losing your sanity yet, or you've got everything in control?
I know. I'm slowly going insane.
I feel like Tepo, in the group, you are that guy who would lose it first.
And he does.
You know, it's so funny. I'm that guy that said, "Hey guys, if you don't get your act together, I'm liquidating all this nonsense. I'm closing shop." You should have seen the guys.
Yeah.
And he's not joking.
He's not joking. He threatens us every week.
You see, Mbali, why I wake up at 4 and go and sell in the streets. Keeps us awake. But it's a good one, Shem. No, it's a good one when it comes to numbers, you know, because if we don't, what can I say? If we are not on track with the numbers, it will be a total disaster. So he's doing such an amazing job.
Tepo, what you're doing is applaudable. So, how are you keeping balance, Tepo? We know you like logic. If it's not numbers, it doesn't make sense. So, how has the theory been so far?
Yeah, look, it's been interesting. I think, especially working with Lebogo Bathabile. You know, Palisa can handle a bit, you know, because she's still corporate minded. Lebogo just shoots off the hill, eh? And the next thing, Bathabile is no more in Joburg. But I'm like, Bathabile, where are you? I need this. You know. So look, it's been fun. You know, I think most of the time the guys know that I'm probably working overnight while they sleep, and in the morning they get messages from me. They get the numbers, you know, they get the graph to say this is where we are. You know, so I'm still trying to make sane in terms of what's possible from a process and system perspective. I think our biggest challenge is actually building those processes We've got a great person that has come on board that Stable has introduced, Yasmin, who's helping us to digitize everything from end to end, So, we're working like crazy. We've made sure we put in an accounting system in place. We've made sure that we put in a payroll system in place. So these are the things that we're working on in the background to make sure that, so it's the click of a button, things can happen. I think one of the stories in December that happened is we were late in paying our employees, and things just went upside down. The team now looked at me and I got punished. To say, hey, where are you? You're supposed to make sure people are paid. I said, okay, no. Let's put the process in place. Let's make sure we have a payroll system. Let's make sure that things get function, and we are getting there. Our accountant, I'm sure she doesn't sleep because of me. I'm like, hey, where's this money? I want to know. So yeah.
You'll be punished again.
But we're getting there. I must say, we are getting there. It's like building a business from the bottom, and it's an exciting time for us, I guess.
Lovely. Lebo, you've had plenty of experience, with budding businesses, businesses that, start very small and then see themselves to scale. I would assume that you're still not having much sleep dealing with this project in particular. But what's changed for you so far? How are you keeping everything together? What is the glue for you?
My two daughters keep me sane. I must be honest. Our morning rides to school. We get to laugh, we get to go crazy, we get to sing. I'm tired of singing Brown Skin Girl, by the way. They make me sing that song every day. But I am being genuine in saying that's the only thing that has kept me sane with this process of what we are trying to do here, because it's just crazy, and it's naturally expected to be so. Any new thing that you start is going to be chaotic, but what we often are doing is that we think it's going to be smooth. And even though experience tells us from previous activities that we have done and previous startups that we have founded going to be crazy, humans are just naturally optimistic. We just wear this positivity around us, and we're like, no, we're just gonna do well. Now everything is just gonna flow smooth and whatever. And there's not enough of an appreciation of the process. Yes. And a big part of the process is failure, and you have to go through the failure in order for you to start, like there's this curve that's often shown, Seppo. I wish we had it on screen somewhere, where when an entrepreneur does projections of how their business is going to grow, like we said, our startup is going to be 100 stores in 5 years. It's got this curve that just shoots up straight, right? But in actual fact, how it goes, that go down, up and down. It's like climbing a mountain. There's constantly things, potholes, all sorts of things that you're going to come across that are going to hit you so hard.
For sure.
Even when you have your whole kit where you are ready, you're saying, that's an ready. You've thought of everything, and bam. And people who've got newborn kids know this best. I know that with our younger child, I used to find myself in hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning. It made no sense, because every sneeze, every cough, we had to rush to hospital because the mother was so panicky and stuff. But that is the nature. I was like, you've given birth to a child before. Like, what's new here? You know the patterns. But that did not remove the anxiety, the depression, and everything else that comes with the process of starting. So that's where we are. Like, I am feeling some type of way, but being involved in my daughter's lives allows me to always regain sanity. So when I get home in the morning after I've dropped them off from school, then I'm ready to, I've got energy, that I'm energized, and I'm ready to pump out again and be like, okay, we need to do this. And buddy, I work with you in the trenches. So you better than anybody else know that we don't sleep. At 2 o'clock in the morning, we're texting each other about that. And that's just the nature of anything starting out. What I have confidence in is that it does not get easier. We must not fool ourselves in this journey. It doesn't get easier, but we do become better. And it speaks to Tsepo's point. We learned very quickly that we need to spend money to be able to make money. So one of the things we've done is bring in a specialist who helps us with automation. So we are making sure that we're automating our processes so that we can communicate better, so that we can coach better. Our desire for members to know on a weekly basis what our sales reports are. Why? When members know, they will know how to participate. If they don't know, then they don't know how to participate. So we are learning, and it's hard. It's hard. It's depressing. We cry every day, guys, like we cry, but we are in it.
Let me just say that please don't let Lebo's story about his 2 daughters fool you. He's not that sweet guy after he drops off his kids at school. He is breathing dragon.
Yes.
He is breathing fire and making sure that everyone is delivering. If we thought Tepo was worse, the 2 of them combined, I just feel bad for Osis Batabile and Upalisa, especially Upalisa, because Upalisa is the quiet one. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining. I was ready to take you guys off screen, but if you don't have any final words, I would like to end it here for today. I think maybe, our parting shot is that we are still taking in new members. There's a group that is open, for contributions at this point, and that is which group, Tepo?
That is group 3. It's called the third money installment, or the third money once off. In fact, we're going to combine those 2 groups into one group, then we close it off from that point of view. Because I think we're happy with 3 groups, and we need to make sure that we win with 3 groups, so that when we scale as quickly as Sis Batabile said, on the 2nd and 3rd year, we are scaling on a working model. So so you can join the third money once off. If you've got 15.5, you want to hit it once off, that's the third money once off. But even the third installment, we're starting to see it as a once off, because people are coming in and putting 15.5. So because I think if anything's go by, we should launch the 3rd store, or should I say at least ideally come April or May. So arguably that's what 2 to 3 months to go. So
Parting shots, Lebo?
Look, on my end, I just want to support Sepo's statement.
Yeah.
Through our learnings, we realized that for this year, for 2021, we're going to remain with 3 groups. But in remaining with 3 groups, it's not just about stabilizing the stores that we're buying into for the year. It's also about educating our co-op, because it's a brand new cooperative, and a lot of the members in there do not understand what they're supposed to do, and they're even new in the cooperative environment. So we've got a lot of education to do. We've got a lot of development to do amongst ourselves, and we've got a lot of value to extract from each other. And what we want to do, what we would like to see by December, is a situation where we're giving birth to other co-ops from within the co-op. So without going out to the public and even buying into new stores, would like to see existing members buy multiple stores. And some of them actually graduating from being co-op members to being franchisees by themselves individually. So there's major plans in the pipeline from that perspective. And also on the enterprise development part, we've got learnerships that we are doing with Services CETA. It's called New Venture Creation. We want to be taking learners into our stores. And as they go through this process, they are going to experience what it feels like to work in retail. And when they get a certificate at the end of the year, they're able to start their own businesses. So there's a lot of things that are going to be happening in the pipeline. Please stay glued to your emails, as well as our digital platforms. We're going to be communicating a whole lot more. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you guys for being here. I'm happy to catch up with you again in the next 3 weeks or in a month's time. I don't know. But what can members expect, just briefly?
Say that again, buddy. Sorry, you threw me off there.
What can members expect? I mean, do we have any communication for them at this point, or just yes?
Okay. No, we definitely do. We're going to be communicating next week about the second store. I don't want to preempt, I don't want to jump the gun. The board is going to communicate accordingly, but there's definitely something positive in the pipeline.
I see.
And the third group, we already have the sites, by the way, for all 3 groups and all 3 stores that we're buying into. We're just going through the regulatory framework, the compliance and stuff, and just we're smoothing the process over. There's a lot of resistance that we are facing from multiple stakeholders that we have no power over, and we're brand new in the marketplace when it comes to being a Black cooperative that's in the franchising space. So it comes with its own challenges, guys. But definitely stay glued. If you haven't participated in the third group, you are welcome to. There's going to be some major shakeups that are going to be happening, but we don't want to publicize what's going to happen there, because we've learned. What we have learned more than anything is that make noise about collecting the capital, right? Once you have collected, once you are in operation mode, shut the hell up and get the work done. Because if you talk too much, the competition is coming for you, and they are not friendly, they're not kind at all. So those are learnings that have been pretty hectic for us. And, we're maturing through that process.
Awesome. Thank you so much again. I'm just going to end it here, guys. Thank you for being here. Have a great Friday. And remember to think ownership always.